Hi dears, so in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys the basic rundown of what you're going to need before you get started on designing your own Spoonflower fabric. Hopefully you guys found this video to be helpful. I hope that it helps some people in some ways to designing their own fabric. If you want to be able to get some of my personally designed fabric, I'm going to be having it available for sale on my Spoonflower for a very limited time. I'm going to be doing a really limited run of certain designs, certain fabrics and things like that. So if you want to be able to get some of my old Truly Darling stuff, yeah, just keep an eye out on that. I'm going to have a link down below for the Spoonflower shop. And then also, if you want to be able to get Aurora Valentine on other things, other products like socks, phone cases, sweaters, I have a Teespring store where you can get that kind of stuff, so you can wear some of my Lolita designs in a more casual way. Like, also you can use it to help dress up your boyfriend. If you're going to a tea meetup, you can just go grab him a t-shirt or a sweater, so then there you go, he matches your coordinate. First of all, I'm going to give you some tips and recommendations for what I like to use on Spoonflower. So when I had Truly Darling, we started off with using, it was the cotton sateen, and we also used, it was a silk crepe de chine. At the time, Spoonflower, this is all they really had, and it was the only options that were really suitable for Lolita. So what I did was I bought the little dollar book that gives you little swatches in it, and the little swatches are just white. They don't have your fabric design on it or anything like that, but they're good to get a feel, like to feel them in your hand and to feel if they'd be good. So this is before they even really had jersey. They did not have chiffon or satin or any other real other options. This is also in early Spoonflower days. They were trying to be extremely eco-friendly, so a lot of their stuff was not very color fast. So when I would buy fabric for Truly Darling, I wanted to make sure it was color fast. So the only ones that were very color fast were the silk crepe de chine and the cotton sateen. Now, that being said, they were only color fast for pastel and lighter colored designs. So I actually had to use a totally separate manufacturer called ADV Printing in order to do stuff like Morgan My Dear and my darker, more jewel tone colored designs. This was very frustrating because they kept changing, ADV kept changing the weight of the sateen fabric. They told me they didn't, but they totally did. So sometimes I'd get the fabric in and it'd be very thick cotton sateen and it'd be really hard to sew. And then other times I'd get it in and it was a slightly lighter weight, thinner cotton sateen. They're both very high quality and good in terms of being color fast, but they were more expensive. I think it was $30 per yard, and they ended up, I think, upping it to $33 per yard. And Spoonflower was able to do a cotton sateen for about $27 a yard. So that was one of those obstacles I kind of ran across in the early days with Truly Darling. And now, luckily, Spoonflower has come up with a lot of new and beautiful, wonderful, color fast, great options for Lolita, and those ones that I recommend are definitely the poly crepe de chine. Cotton sateen is kind of dated, mainly just because Lolitas aren't using a lot of cotton fabric, but if you do have a light colored print, I recommend the cotton sateen. The satin for sure, only if you're going to put an overlay on it, in my opinion, like a tulle overlay, just to kind of take down the shine a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to be doing a dress review series where I go over each design I created when I ran Truly Darling and a little story and backlog behind each print. So I'll go ahead and show you that. I recommend the chiffon, which is new. The chiffon is gorgeous. Of course, they brought it into existence around the time that I ended my business, but I definitely got to use it a few times before that happened, and it was just amazing. I highly recommend it. So let's get into your basics of what you need. So aside from a swatch booklet that you can get, I also recommend that you get a color chart, preferably in the fabric choice that you want. So this is on the poly crepe de chine. I got the color chart because I wanted to be able to see how these colors would turn out. So if I'm planning my design, I'll make sure that I'll be able to get it that way. So the poly crepe de chine is nice because it's a little bit stretchy. Yeah, that's nice. So I was also able to get a feel for the fabric and see how it looks and how the colors look on it. So I definitely recommend buying this color chart right here. So the cool thing about it is not only do they send you this, but you also will get a little downloadable file where you can just color select these exact same colors right off of the file they give you, and you can use it in your program. So if you're using something like GIMP, which is not as CMYK friendly for printing, you can still make sure your colors come out pretty accurate between having this and that color chart online. So if you're doing Photoshop, Photoshop is better about CMYK, but if you're a cheapo like me and you know, GIMP basically runs very similarly to Photoshop, you can do it in there too, and you don't have to worry about too many color deviations. When I first ran Truly Darling, I didn't buy something like this for a few years, and I can tell you it made life a lot easier once I did, so I highly recommend it. Okay, next I'm going to be showing you guys what the fabric looks like after it's been printed. Now, in the video tutorials that I do, I am going over how to do a border print. This is not for an all-over print. If you guys are interested in seeing me do one for an all-over print, I can do a totally different video on that. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the fat quarter... Do I still have it? Yeah, I just sewed them together. I'm always looking for ways to save the fabric. So it's a little wrinkly, so excuse the wrinkles. But this is what the fabric looks like on the satin. And as you can see, it is extremely shiny. Okay, it is super, super shiny. But that's why I went ahead and I toned it down with a tulle overlay. And when I actually finished making the dress, it was intentional that I picked fabric this shiny in order to do that. So the actual fat quarter size itself is about half this, so it's just like that. I went ahead and folded in half. So that's how big the fat quarter is. You can see there's 3. Wow, it is so wrinkly. Sorry guys, I did not have time to iron this beforehand. So as you can see, there are 3, you can see up to 3 of the border print pattern panels on it. The thing I did notice about printing on this ultra satiny beautiful fabric is some of those little details like the stars and all that, they're extremely subtle. So, I mean, when you turn the fabric in certain lights and things like that, probably if it was ironed, you'd be able to see it better. And I'll show you guys what I mean when I say putting the overlay on it. I'll just go grab Aurora Valentine and show you the dress really quick. Okay, so this is how that same satin fabric looks, beautifully toned down and just softened a lot when you put a tulle overlay on top of it. See, and as you can see, it has this overlay on it, so it's not nearly as shiny. It still has some shine to it, but this right here, this tulle overlay, it really makes a difference. Look at that. Jeez, so shiny. And then we just tone it down a little bit with something like this. What I recommend doing when you're designing your dress, if you do get the satin and you want to see how that looks, you take that fat quarter that you order and bring it with you to Joann's, and then try all the different tools and the mesh overlays, or even chiffon. You know, I really actually wanted to do an overlay originally with chiffon, but the chiffon was too opaque for this style dress. There are some chiffons that are not as opaque. You could probably get away with it, but I would just recommend taking that fat quarter with you, lay it all out on Joann's tables they got back there, and then just see what works. That's how I managed to find this peachy poly crepe de chine color that perfectly matched the bottom part of this right here. So I was able to lay out all of my materials and figure out what worked, even down to the collar color. I wanted to make sure it was a cream color and it wasn't too white or anything like that. Jeez, sleeve got all out of control. That's it for today's video. If you want to enter in a current giveaway I have going on, please make sure to follow my Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment on here if you'd like as well. I'm going to be running this giveaway for like the next 2 months or so. So in the end of about 2 months, I'll follow up with it and I'll announce a winner. But it's for these cute milk socks. I know I mentioned this in a previous video. Yeah, I had a lot of life stuff going on. I didn't manage to get it done as quickly as I wanted it to, the giveaway and all that. So I'm bringing it back. I'm completing it this time. The reason why I say 2 months is because I am going to be releasing these videos for the tutorial on how to design this fabric. Only one a week, and there's a few of them. There's at least 3 or 4 videos, so it's going to take at least a month just to finish the tutorials. So yeah, so during that time, we'll just be running this giveaway, and you can keep an eye out. I'm going to be probably announcing the winner on my Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys. So yeah, links for everything will be down in the description below. Thank you guys so much again for watching this video. I will see you guys next time.